They have high hopes and a whole lot of motivation. The danger is virtual, but the excitement is real. Any night of the week, they're their league's heroes. And they live for the thrill of victory. It's Sunday Night Thunder. NARC No Limit is open for business. Welcome to Victory Fuel No Limit Season 1. We're at Oswego Speedway in Oswego, New York tonight, where they have shoveled over 3 feet of snow off of this racetrack so that we can race here tonight. We have 40 cars on tap for tonight with the No Limit Sprint cars presented by Victory Fuel here at Oswego. Temperature right now about 68 degrees. We got some mild humidity and some overcast, but not very windy. And with the wing sprint car, that wind can come into play. Let's send it over to Christian down in the pits and get a feel for what's going on down with the cars.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, I'm down here. I'm trackside, and we got cars on track. We're back here with No Limit, with a new title sponsor in Victory Fuel. We're super excited to have them on board, to be partnering up with the Swindells. And we're super excited to also announce that from last season, we crowned a invitational champion in Trevor Royer, and a whole bunch of founders positions. And so look for those guys to have good races tonight. Those were hard-earned positions that guys earned throughout that invitational series. So I expect them to perform well throughout the season this year.
Yeah, a little bit about the No Limit format. We've got 40 cars on tap tonight. They will go out and do single car qualifying, which they, before coming to the track tonight, drew pills. They got a random order for qualifying. They're interactive into that in that process. It's not just randomly generated. They have to actually go in and draw a physical pill. They're then put in a qualifying order, and we get them one at a time, which is a little bit unusual for this format of racing, but really simulates what we see in the real world. After that, they'll line up for 4 heat races, where just 4 drivers from each of those heat races will make the feature, and we'll take 2 semi-feature events after that, and then we'll run a dash where the winner of each heat race plus the fastest qualifier who transfers from each heat race will be put in a dash format, and we'll run for the top 8 spots in the race. All right. Well, we are getting ready to send out some cars out onto the track for qualifying. And while we wait on them to get the track clear before they do this, they'll do a quick track inspection, make sure everything's okay. Looks like they have done that, and just waiting for a push truck, it looks like. All righty. Our first car out on the track for Turn 2 Terribles qualifying is going to be the number 11 of Joseph Groom from Royalty Motorsports out of Oswego, Michigan. Groom coming around for Groom of 1513. Let's see if we can get that Kistler wound up here in lap number 2. Lap number 2 for Joseph. Not better. He'll hold 15:13. Next out on the speedway, going to be the number 99 Full Throttle Motorsports entry from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is Gavin Chatham. Gavin Chatham's first lap, 14:91. That's going to put him on top of the board at the moment. Lap number 2 right around the cushion. Lap number 2 a little bit better, 14:88. Next out on the track from Hilton Head, South Carolina, driving the number 007, Jeremy Childers Racing entry. This is Jeremy Childers. Our first visit in the 410 Sprint Cars for National Auto Racing Club here at Oswego. So we will be setting a track record tonight. Whoever comes across as your fast qualifier will be your track record holder this. Childers' first lap of 15:62 comes around for lap number 2. 15:33 better, but not enough to improve position. He's going to sit in number 3rd. Next out on the track, driving the number 99, just a trim racing machine from Wilson, Michigan for K&K Contracting. This is Solomon Borschinger. Borschinger's first lap of 15:61. Little squirrely in 1 and 2. I don't know that this is going to be any faster. He gets right up on the cushion here in 2 and 3, or in 3 and 4. And a little bit of grip, and not going to be any faster for lap number 2. So Chatham, Groom, Childers, Borschinger, your top 4. Next up out on the track, driving the number 16 from Belvedere, Texas. This is Jeremy Christensen for Christensen Racing. Jeremy, a veteran of NARC, veteran of No Limit here. Round for lap number 2, a 15:10. Good enough to slot him into 2nd. Looks pretty smooth in lap number 2. Let's see if he can bury any more speed. Not any faster with lap 2. That's going to slot him into 2nd. Next out on the track, driving the number 8 machine from Mountain Home, Idaho, the Newton Racing entry. This is James Newton. James Newton, sponsored by Bad Boy Buggy, Triple X, and Morrison Engine. Newton comes around for lap number 1 way up in the fluff. Lap number 1 going to be a 15:57 for Newton. Lap number 2 for Newton coming around. Not any better. That 15:57 slots him into 5th. Next out on the racetrack, and in the number 57 machine for Kamikaze Motorsports out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. This is Austin Griffey. Griffey pretty clean in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, little loose on entry there. We'll carry the car a little bit straighter on entry, I think. That's a pretty good lap. 15:21 here for lap number 1. Lap number 2 for Griffey going to be a 15:09. Good enough to put him into 2nd at the moment. Next out on the track, the Turn 5 Enterprises machine from Bloomington, Indiana. The EPI Victory Fuel Triple X powered by a Chevy. This is Steven Stewart. Steven right up on the cushion, putting it all out there. Stewart, the Division II championship winner from the Invitational Series. His first lap, a 15:07, good enough for second. Second lap, gonna be 15:1, not enough. Next out on the racetrack, driving the number 73 Scott Thomason Racing entry from St. Louis, Missouri, sponsored by Rockin' K, Jess and Jim's Midwest Barbecue. This is Larry Moody. Larry's first lap here. A 15:57, enough to slot him in to 7th. Second lap for Moody, 15:26, moves him up to 6th place. Next car out on the racetrack from Northwood, Iowa. Driving the Hagen Farms Triple X powered by a rider. This is Brent Hagen. Hagen got some NARC victories under his belt. A lot of experience in our 360 All-Star Series. It's a little squirrely there. That first lap going to be a 15:33, good enough to slot him into 7th. And we lost him here. Second lap not any faster, going to keep him in 7th. Next car out on the track, taking the green flag in the Aero Sim Sports car from Roseburg, Oregon. The CD Simtography Cage, Steven Designs, Ashton Mueller Racing, Triple X powered by Adana. This is Ashton Mueller. Ashton's first lap, a 15:01, good enough for second. Ashton, a person who's perfectly capable of putting it on the pole here. Right in the fluff. This could be quicker. Second lap for Ashton. No quicker. 15:02. Almost identical laps there for those two. Next out on the racetrack, driving the number 97 Old Man Motorsports entry. This is JP Scheider. JP filling in for Richard Overmeyer this week. JP from Marysville, Ohio. And his first lap of 15:01 matches Mueller's first lap. JP also someone who's more than capable of putting it on the pole here. Second lap for JP. Not any faster. Actually, way slower. 15:34. Next on the track from Cottage Grove, Oregon. A newcomer to NARC and No Limit. Driving the Tanner Pettit Racing entry. Sponsored by Jimmy Mac Tools. 1425 Photography. This is Kalen Sabo. Kalen's first lap, a 15:01. That is 3 15:01s in a row for entry laps. If anybody had their money on that one, you can go claim that ticket at the pari-mutuel window. Second lap for Sabo, not faster. I'm going to slot him into second. Next car out on the racetrack, driving the number 7 Delta Sim Sports entry. It's a house car presented by Delta Sim Sports. We'll see different drivers in each car. This is Bradley Cox. Cox's first lap, a 15:06, good enough to slot him into 5th. Runs a little higher line on that second lap than we've seen from the others. Let's see if we can carry more speed here. Not going to be enough. 15:06 going to slot him into 5th on the racetrack. Next out there in the Ross Kaiser Racing entry from San Jose, California. The Trackside Collective number 4, Trackside Collective number 4, driven by Ross Kaiser. Ross Kaiser, a SSR and NARC veteran, but new to the No Limit field this season. Ross running a little bit different line, kind of a low entry, high exit. And looks like he's going to clock a 14.89, just a thousandth off of the pole. So close. I don't think Chatham's pole is safe at this point. There are some fast cars, and I think the track is picking up. But our next entry, our No Limit Invitational champion from Reading, Pennsylvania, driving the Black Diamond Motorsports UDTV Dirt Track, Tim's Dirt Track Sims Mach 1 Donna. This is Trevor Royer. Trevor Royer's first lap, 14.98. Good enough for third. That second lap going to be 14.97. Still slots him in third. Next car out on the track, he is going to be driving the number 07 Kenny Hoffman Racing from Wills Bar, Pennsylvania. This is Connor Dudek. Dudek, an interesting chassis engine combo. He's driving a Frogger with a Howie engine. That's super common. Dudek going to slot it into fourth with a 15.0 on lap 1. Dudek carrying a lot of momentum into lap 2. On the top end, 3 and 4, Connor Dudek for lap number 2. 14.97. That's going to slot him into third. Next car out on the track from Lemoore, California. This is the Tanner Pettit Racing number 49. Sponsored by Mac Tools, 1425 Photography, and Blake Carrick Racing. This is Ryan Avila. Ryan's first lap slots him in a 14.96 into third place. Second lap for Avila. Not faster. Not faster for second lap. That's going to lock him in to third at the moment. Next car on the track from Dwaynesburg, New York. Driving the Inferno Motorsports number 518. This is Joseph Grandy. Grandy right up against the wall in 3 and 4. $15.10, slotting him into 12th to start with on his first lap here. Grandy almost up into the wall. Lap number 2, no faster. Next out on the track, driving the number 79 Full Throttle Motorsports entry. This is Dean Reynolds from North Syracuse, New York. Dean, a little bit of a newcomer to NARC and SSR. We've seen him a little bit this year and late last year. A no-limit rookie. Lap number 1 for Reynolds. Going to clock him in at 15.24. Good enough for 15th place. Lap number 2, right around the top. Is it just too far around at this point? That's kind of what it seems. And Reynolds 15.24 will stand. Almost identical lap times between the two. Next out on track from Coldwater, Ohio. Driving the number 26, Jonathan Paquette Motorsports entry. Sponsored by M9 Performance. This is Nick Klosterman. Klosterman kind of going down to the bottom, running that little bit of a slider line. A little bit of a slip of the grip on the exit 4 there. First lap for Klosterman. Going to be a 15.52. Sliding him in at 19th. He's going to run the bottom middle here. And again, just a little over rotation on the exit. Probably not going to be any quicker here. That 15.52 will be what he takes. Sliding him in 19th at the moment. Next car on the track, number 7425 Enterprise entry from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This is Jonathan Dolly. We have a little bit of a mix-up. There we go. Jonathan Dolly getting a late push. Jonathan's first lap. Here, kind of running right on that cushion. Sticking around on the top here. Jonathan's first lap coming in at a 15:41. He's going to keep that momentum going, running right in that fluff area there. Oh, a little loose on the exit of 4 there. Probably not going to be any faster. I think that's going to put Jonathan Dolly in 19th provisionally with a 15:41. Next car out on the speedway. Driving the number 6 Watson Motorsports entry from Fremont, Ohio. This is Tyler Crump. Tyler Crump, a substitute for Mike Watson, who unfortunately isn't here this week on concussion protocol from an injury after a nasty flip here last week in the 360. Taking a quick pause of qualifying with the yellow out here for the moment. Looks like they're checking out something over there in turn 3. There we go. Reese Reimer out on track at the moment from Iowa City, Iowa, in the Black Dog Motorsports 28. Reese's first lap. Didn't get a time in timing and scoring here. First lap of 15:91. That's going to put him 21st. Second lap for Reese, 15:93. That keeps him at the bottom of the pack. Next up from Yuba City, California, driving the team SSR number 54. This is the one and only Kyle Stanley. Kyle takes the green flag here. Going to run a little bit of a slider line in 1 and 2. Going to run that top momentum in 3 and 4 here. Let's see what he can do. Looks pretty straight on exit. Staying his first lap, a 15:89. Good enough for 24th. Not the speed he was looking for. Let's see if he can pick it up here in lap number 2. A little odd on exit, and it looks like he was out of the throttle. That first lap will be what he takes, that 15:89. Next out on track, driving the number 32 Brent Mark Sim Sport machine from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. This is Christopher Lynn. Chris Lynn, the Division III champion from last season. One of our founders. Chris right up on the top of the wall. Lynn's first lap going to be a 15:41. Next up on track, driving the number 80 Ironman Motorsports machine from St. Louis, Missouri. This is the winningest driver in National Auto Racing Club, Vinny Sansone. Vinny's first lap. Going to be a 15:21. Puts him in 15th provisionally here. Let's see if he can carry any more speed into lap number 2. Lap number 2, not any better for Vinny. Next car out on the track, driving the number 27 from Jefferson City, Missouri. The Scott Thomason Racing entry, this is Chad Griggs. Chad ran a partial season last season in our invitational. Came back to run with us this season. Griggs' first lap by 15:11. Good enough to put him into, what does that look like, 14th. Running down the bottom of the track. Griggs. Next car out on track, the second winningest driver in NARC history. Driving the elbows up, SimSport number 85. This is Tyler Schell. Tyler Schell, an iRacing world champion. So he's got anything here late in qualifying. 15-17 for Schell. Slots him in 16th. And the single car qualifying, man, it can get you even the best of the best. Gonna struggle as the track goes away. Second lap for Schell, no faster. And driving the Phantom Motorsports number 49. This is Jesse Mandy from Rochester, Minnesota. Jesse's first lap. Jesse's first lap gonna be off my screen here. 15:77. That's good enough to put him 28th at the moment. And his second lap, 15:66, doesn't move him up in the 970 Delta Sim Sports machine. This is Miles Jansen from Taylors Falls, Minnesota. Miles' first lap here. Going to be 15:31. That's good enough to put him into 20th position. Second lap going to be 15:30. An improvement, but not any better position-wise. Next car out, driving the 17 Delta Sim Sports machine from Anacoco, Louisiana. This is Taylor Wineland. Sounds like the motor's struggling a little bit out there. First lap for Wineland did not register for me. Oh, yeah, well, here we go. 15:52 slots him in for 25th. And our last car here in Turn 2 Terribles qualifying for the Victory Fuel No Limit car is going to be Kenny Hoffman. Kenny was late to the pill, and it looks like he is not going to get it fired off here. So he is going to lose his second lap as well. That means Gavin Chatham will be your pole sitter with a 14:88 and a new track record here at Oswego Speedway in the 410 sprint cars. All righty. Well, a couple of more sponsors to talk about. Turn 2 Terribles, they're a qualifying sponsor. If you haven't listened to Monday night at 8 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or the next day, you can check it out on the podcast platform of your preference. Turn 2 Terribles is a dirt track oriented podcast, and some of your favorite people from iRacing are behind Turn 2 Terribles, if you believe it or not. So you'll see some names that are probably pretty familiar to you. Also, Victory Fuel. With over 1.5 times more electrolytes than the leading sports drink, Victory Fuel is your winning source of hydration, all while giving you your daily vitamins in just a 12-ounce can. Sweetened with only 6 grams of natural sugar and no added coloring. Visit drinkvictory.com to get Victory Fuel shipped right to your door, or find your closest retailer or track at their website. Victory Fuel, a very exciting partnership for us here at School of Sim Racing and No Limit. We have been working with Swindells for now over a year with various things, and they've done a number of great things to help provide us, what we need to make these leagues work, and some of our special events as well. All right, we're getting ready to line up heat race number 1. They're still pulling a couple of cars behind push trucks at the moment. All right. Starting on the pole in heat race number 1, it's driving the number 80 Ironman Motorsports machine. This is Vinny Sansone. And on the outside of row number 1 in the Christensen Racing number 16, Jeremy Christensen. On the inside of row number 2, it's going to be the number 7 Inferno Motorsports machine of Bradley Cox. And on the outside of row number 2, it's going to be the number 90 Black Diamond Motorsports entry of Trevor Royer. On the inside of row number 3, this is going to be your pole sitter, Gavin Chatham, driving the number 99. On the outside of row number 3, this is going to be the 95 of Brent Hagan. On the inside of row number 4, it is going to be the number 7 25 Enterprises machine of Taylor Wineland. And on the outside of row number 4, the number 97 Watson Motorsports entry of Tyler Crum. And tagging the rear, it is going to be the number 1 entry from Kenny Hoffman Racing. That is Kenny Hoffman himself. Can't see if he made the call for this. He was having some problems in qualifying, but it does look like he's out there. So I think we are going to see Kenny here tonight. Ten laps the distance here. The top 4 cars out of this race will transfer. Your winner of this heat race and the fastest qualifier to transfer will make the dash and get to run for the top 8 positions in tonight's feature. Sansone and Christensen coming down. Green flag's out. Hammers down. Sansone out to an early lead. Slides right up to the top. He's going to hold off Ross Kaiser up there a little bit. Sansone kind of running that middle slider up to the top there. Sansone, Christensen, Kaiser, Royer, all with a blanket over top of them. All 4 of those guys just absolutely pulling away from the rest of the pack. Chatham sitting back in 5th right now. He's got some work to do. He's got to pass Royer, or he's not going to make the dash here. Sansone holding on to the lead here still, but Kaiser is wicked fast. You can tell he's trying to find a way to get around him. Kaiser drops the nose, cuts down under on the entry of the straightaway. Kaiser with the slider all the way up to the top. Sansone down underneath him. Sansone's got nothing in that slick. Ross Kaiser, your new leader, coming to the flag here with just 6 laps to go when we cross. No, that's Bradley Cox. Sorry, I thought that was Ross Kaiser. Some new cars, even I'm getting used to it. Sorry, my apologies to Bradley. So we've got Cox, Sansone, then Royer, then Chatham in 4th now. Chatham being in 4th, that's where he needs to be to take that transfer into the dash. Royer now trying to make a move on Sansone. Royer drops the nose down on the front stretch. Can't get anything going. 4 laps to go. Cox, Sansone, Royer, Chatham. Battle here between Royer and Sansone. Royer going to run the very, very top of the track. Cuts down underneath. Still got nothing. He's got the run. Now he's got to run. He's going to slide job all the way to the wall. Sansone, again, just a sitting duck on the slider. There's no way to combat it because there's just no grip on exit off. Now we've got Bradley Cox, Trevor Royer, Vinny Sansone. Chatham starting to come up and catch the back of Royer, or of Sansone. Bradley Cox coming out of 4 to take the white flag. Just one more trip around and he's going to secure his spot in the dash. Royer, a little bit of tag at the wall. He's pushing hard. And it's going to be Bradley Cox, Trevor Royer, Vinny Sansone, and Gavin Chatham. Your 4 transfers with Bradley Cox and Gavin Chatham going to the dash. No, you did perfect. That's exactly what I need. Heat race number 3. 10 laps the distance here. Top 4 cars transferring to the feature. Starting on the pole in the number 73, Larry Moody, or Scott Thompson Racing, it's Larry Moody. And on the outside of row number 1, in the number 11 Royalty Motorsports machine, it's Joseph Groom. On the inside of row number 2, in the number 57, it is Austin Griffey. And on the outside of row number 2, it's the number 33 Aero Sim Sports machine of Ashton Mealer. In row number 3, it's the number 49 of Ryan Avila, your quick qualifier in this heat, and the number 32 of Chris Lynn. And we've got the number 7 of James Newton, or the number 8 car of James Newton, followed by Kyle Stanley in the number 54. 10 laps the distance. Moody and Groom take them to the corner. Moody out to the early lead. It's a big jump. Big gaggle. Vila's going to make it all the way to the front here. A little bit of wall. Oh, we've got, I don't even know who that was that ended up out. Moody, Griffey, and Lynn, maybe. Now I've got Avila, Mealer, and Groom up front, followed by James Newton. Stanley taking the biggest advantage out of that. He's all the way up into a transfer spot into 4th position. He's making a move now on Joseph Groom. He gets around Groom, almost a little bit of contact, not the cleanest pass we've ever seen. Groom stays up on the top. Stanley again with that slider line out front of Vila Mealer. Still a pretty big gap between them, and a pretty good gap between Stanley and Mealer here. So kind of spread out after a little bit of calamity involving Moody, Griffey, and Lynn early. A little bit of work here between, looks like what, James Newton and Joseph Groom. It's good for a transfer spot. I mean, Newton, a no-limit veteran and just a little over the cushion. He's going to lose all that advantage he had there. 3 laps to go here for the leaders. Avila, Mealer, Stanley, Groom. Not a lot of action here. Everybody just holding on. You don't want to hurt the car. You don't want to hurt the car for something you can't control. If there's just not enough time to get back up to him, there's just not enough. Now leader's coming around to the white flag, Ryan Avila in the number 49. Ryan Avila coming out of turn number 4. He's going to be your winner in heat race number 3. Followed by Mealer, who fell off to 6 seconds of gap to Ryan. Be Avila and Mealer also to the dash. So your top 2 cars from each of the heat races so far going to the dash. All righty. School Sim Racing Heat Race number 4. 10 laps again. Top 4 going to the feature. On the pole, this is number 970, Miles Jansen. And on the outside of the front row, probably the one to beat in this heat race, the number 85 of Tyler Schell. Inside of row number 2, the number 518 of Joseph Grandy. And the outside of row number 2, the number 18 of JP Scheider. Inside of row number 3, a NARC and SSR veteran, Connor Dudek. The outside of row number 3, the number 74 of Jonathan Dolly. And the inside of row number 4, the number 91 of Solomon Borschinger. And the outside going to be the number 28 of Reese Reimer. Ten laps the distance. Schell and Jansen lead him to the green here. Jansen off to a pretty decent start, but Schell does not let much gap get in the way. Probably the best start from a second place car so far, outside of maybe Avila, who was not in second place. Schell right up on his tail tank. Schell going to be on the attack on turn number 3, third on the exit, and Tyler Schell is going to lead lap number 1. Schell, Jansen, Dudek, Grandy, your top 4. Dudek looking to make a move on Grandy now. No, that's not Dudek. Is that Scheider? Looking to make a move on Jansen. Dudek drops the nose. He tries to cut under. Again, there's that slick on the exit of 1. Nobody has had anything on the bottom there. And we're going to be 3 wide for second for a second. Dudek's going to go back to the top. He's going to cut down to the middle. Careful, though. Joseph Grandy putting his nose in this battle. And this is a battle for letting Grandy kind of come back to them. Miles Jansen up on the top. Now it's going to be Connor Dudek making the attack on it. These guys do seem a little bit faster than the bottom to get around guys. Grandy now trying to make a move. Jansen's going to cut down back underneath Dudek, try to make something happen out of it.
Welcome to Tech Tip, presented by the School of Sim Racing. One of the most controversial features of racing simulators is how developers recreate real-life tracks in the sim. Nowhere else is this more apparent than in the dirt e-motorsport community. iRacing is unique among dirt racing simulators in having a dynamic track model that, to the best of ability, attempts to recreate what we see at our local dirt tracks. In 2023, iRacing released a much-needed refresh of the dynamic track model, updating calculations for water content, grip levels, and introducing greater variability in track wear and roughness to improve the overall feel and realism of the track model. These changes put a greater emphasis on a driver's ability to read and adapt to changing track conditions. So how do we read the track? The first thing to do is to make sure you have dynamic track data selected in your iRacing graphics menu and ensure your computer's graphics are suitably configured to render the dynamic track. You can use iRacing's built-in tools to help you dial in your graphics settings. Once you are ready, you can use iRacing's test sessions to help you learn the track at various stages of wear by configuring dynamic track wear. A 0% track wear is a moisture-laden track and 100% track wear is a dry slick track. In the past, these pre-generated models poorly recreated the natural wear created by sim racers burning in the track. But iRacing development has put much effort into improving this feature, and currently, rendering of pre-generated track conditions is very close to natural wear, for some, but not all tracks in the service. Nevertheless, using pre-gen tracks is a good place to learn the basics of reading the track conditions. Here we show pre-gen renders at 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100% track wear. So, what do we notice? The first thing that should jump out is the dramatic color difference between 0 and 25%. The brighter color of the 25% track is an indication that the track has dried off and lost grip. The next thing you should notice is the appearance of dark streaks at the 75% and 100% wear tracks. These streaks are where the track has fully slicked off and has minimal grip. The last thing you should take notice is where on the track these areas are located. So reading the track is simple, right? Just look at the color, avoid the slick areas, and run in the tacky areas, right? Well, it is a bit more complicated. The racing line is the most efficient way to get around the track. On ovals, it means running against the outside wall on the straights and the bottom line in the corners, with big arcs to maintain momentum. And often, this is the preferred line when the track is tacky, such as in hot laps or qualifying. But the moisture in the dynamic track model quickly dries up, and the line starts to move. Just look at the time lapse of hot laps. See the track drying out? In fact, if we ride along, we can see that the slick has started to form at corner entry. So just run below it, right? Well, not quite. The other thing that is very apparent is the formation of a dark marble patch created by the cars. This continues to be a weak point in iRacing's pre-gen algorithm. It does not produce marbles like the cars do, and this matters a lot, because marbles means grip on iRacing dirt. The formation of marbles adds a level of predictability to how the track wears and where the racing line migrates. At the onset of the session, the marbles form and are pushed up the track. Slick forms at corner entry, and the racing line moves from the ideal line up the track following the marbles. Here we see heat racing with the track wearing in its predictable way and all the cars vying for the grip of the marble line and momentum of the top. Deep slider lines can reduce lap times and can be essential to making passes under these conditions. Arguably, these track conditions are the most challenging in the sim, as it's very difficult to gain the momentum needed to make passes. We fast forward in the session, and here we ride along in a Consolation race. Notice the amount of slick that is now formed at corner entry and where it is in the corners. The top line has thinned, bumps have started to appear, and it's far more difficult to run that top line. The racing line is coming back down the track, and it's opening up to multiple viable racing lanes. At this stage, car placement is critical to finding the grip, and drivers need to manage the transitions from grip to slick, and from slick back to grip in order to be fast. Finally, we reach the feature race. At the beginning of the feature, we have multiple lanes, top, middle, and bottom, and cars will use all of them. But with so many cars on track, track wear is accelerated, and with much less marble formation. But this also generates opportunities to pass, as we can see here, and it makes it possible to navigate through traffic as we ride along with our driver as he runs the bottom. As more cars run this lane, it is necessary to move back up the track and run in the middle lane, where the car needs to be eased through the slick, targeting the small patch of tack to launch the car forward on corner exit. But soon this line disappears too, and is back to the very top. We look here at the end of the feature and we can clearly see that the track is fully slicked off from bottom to top. Throughout the event, drivers who can best read the track and who are not afraid to seek out different lines can be justly rewarded. This has been Tech Tip, presented by the School of Sim Racing.
Alrighty, this is our first Consolation race. We're going to take 4 cars out of this race to our feature. And our front row is going to be Jeremy Christensen and James Newton. Second row is going to be Taylor Wineland and Austin Griffey. Third row is going to be Tyler Crump and Larry Moody. Fourth row is going to be Brent Hagan and Chris Lynn. Fifth row is going to be oh, that's it. It's going to be 12 laps. For some reason, I thought we had another row. All right, green flag is going to be out. Christensen's going to take an early lead here. He's going to move up to the top of the track. He's got Wineland running down on the bottom, right on the bottom. He's got a ton of a head of steam down the backstretch. Coming out of turn number 4, Wineland is going to be your clear leader. Wineland, Christensen, Griffey, Newton at the moment. Christian and Griffey battling it out. Christensen stays up top. Griffey kind of slides to the middle of the track. Way more grip on exit than I expected there. I kind of expected him to stall out. He's going to become your clear second place car at the moment. 9 laps to go. Christensen down to the bottom. He's going to slide up to the middle. He's going to play that same trick on Griffey, but he doesn't have the grip on exit to make it work. Now he's hunting around. James Newton behind them all. Oh, Griffey in the wall a little bit. That's going to let Christensen get back in front of him. But now, Wineland, Christensen, Griffey, Newton. Your top 4. Hagan making a move on the bottom of Newton now. Newton, a little bit of contact with the wall. They're still wheel to wheel. This is for a transfer spot. 5 laps to go. And Lynn make a little bit of contact. Newton, the one that comes out on top of all that, he walks away from it free and clear. Lynn and Hagan both out of the event after that. Christensen, Wineland, Christensen, Griffey, Newton now a clear top 4 in the pack. Not a lot of risk for those 4 guys. You're listening around you. You're not in other motors. You're going, hey, it's time to chill out. Just chill out and let happen what happens. Wineland just on a Sunday afternoon cruise on the bottom of the track to come around here this time to take the white flag for Taylor Wineland. Taylor Wineland coming out of turn number 4. Your B main number 1 winner. Followed by Jeremy Christensen, Austin Griffey, and James Newton. Tyler Crump comes out in 6th place with Hagen and Lynn not making the finish. Apologize for the little bit of trouble with our stream. I don't know. Last season we did have that crazy push truck driver that ran over one of our cables and got us messed up. I appreciate our on top of it working tonight. I know not the cleanest stream we've had, and we've been working through those problems all night and trying to make it better each and every time. We are a school of sim racing here at SSR, and one of the things that I think makes us unique is that in all aspects of this, we are constantly trying to make people better and to teach skills that guys want to learn. And this is no different. Often we have people in various roles on our team that haven't experienced that role yet and are trying something new out. Consolation race number 2, 12 more laps. Nick Klosterman and Joseph Grandy on row 1. Kellen Sabo and Solomon Borschinger on row 2. Jesse Bandy and Reese Reimers on row number 3. Jeremy Childers and Jonathan Dolly in row number 4. And Kenny Hoffman slated for row number 5. Can't tell if he made it out there or not. Eyes on Kenny here. It does look like Kenny's out there. So I think we have a full lineup here at the moment. Top 4 make it to the feature. Everybody else back to the trailer. Start loading up. It's time to go home. All right, Klosterman, Grandy, Borschinger, Sabo, your top 4 coming down the backstretch here. Klosterman is the control car. He's got control of the start. Anytime after they reach the apex of turn number 3 and 4 here. Pace car's in. All right, green flags out. Hammers down. Klosterman gets a clean start. Stays right in the middle of the track. A lot of guys early in the pack staying right in the middle of the track. Sabo, Klosterman, Bandy, and Grandy all kind of stay into the middle of the track. Now Klosterman runs to the top, almost a little bit of a diamond, cuts back down the track. That's typically not the fastest way around, but it works for him. He maintains the lead lap number 1. Sabo on the attack on the bottom, though. He's got grip down there. Sabo sticks to the bottom in 3 and 4. Doesn't have the exit speed. Klosterman's going to lead lap number 2. Klosterman, Sabo, Grandy, Bandy, your top 4. Second half further back from that is Hoffman and Borschinger. Hoffman all the way up to 5th place after starting shotgun on the field. Sabo down to the bottom. Hoffman right up on the tail tank of those top 4. He is going to be something to pay attention to here. Sabo now in the lead. He moves to the top of the track. Klosterman cuts down. Sabo loses a ton of momentum. Hoffman tries to stick it in under the bottom underneath Grandy. Everybody survives after that one. Ladies and gentlemen, the front of the pack is like a Krispy Kreme with the hot donut light lit. Everybody is here for their snack. Klosterman, Sabo, Grandy, Bandy, and Hoffman. Throw a blanket on them all. 7 laps to go. Hoffman now up at the top of the track. Grandy and Sabo down at the bottom. Klosterman kind of running a cut down. Very dangerous in this type of field. Now with that middle exit. Bandy's going to make a run on the top of the track against Klosterman now. Hoffman's on the top of the track. New running order is going to be Klosterman, Bandy, Sabo, Hoffman. Grandy now out of the show. Klosterman holding on. Absolute hornet's nest behind him. Bandy now to the lead. Hoffman on the top to 2nd place For Klosterman, it's like a kid trying to hold on to the balloon in a windstorm. He is just hanging on for dear life at the moment. Bandy, Hoffman, Klosterman, Sabo. Grandy out of the show. Out, but not out for good yet. 3 laps to go as we cross the line. This time, it's going to be Bandy again. Hoffman can't pull off the lead at the line. Grandy is back in the show. Klosterman, Grandy, and Sabo now battling it out. Hoffman's going to throw the slider on Bandy. Can't quite pull it off. And looks like a little bit of inside wall contact for Joseph Grandy, and that's going to be the end of the race for him. If these guys are smart, they're thinking it's time to settle down. 1 lap to go. They're in the show. Don't blow it. That's all they're trying to do. 1 lap to go. Hoffman, Brandy, Szabo, and Klosterman. Childers in a distant 5th. Not really going to have anything for anybody. Coming out of turn number 4 this time by in the number 1 Kenny Hoffman Racing Machine. Kenny Hoffman wins Consolation number 2. Hoffman, Bandy, Szabo, and Klosterman will be your 4 transfers into tonight's feature event. Our dash lineup tonight going to be on the pole, the number 7 of Bradley Cox. On the outside of row 1 will be Gavin Chatham. I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong list. My apologies. We just did the dash draw down there. So the inside of row 1 will be Ashton Mueller in the number 33. The outside of row number 1 will be Chad Griggs in the number 27. The inside of row number 2, Tyler Schell in the number 85. The outside of row number 2, Ross Kaiser in the number 4. Inside of row number 3, the number 049 of Ryan Avila. In the outside of row number 3, the number 99 of Gavin Chatham. And the inside of row number 4, the number 7 of Bradley Cox. And the outside of row number 4, the other number 7, Connor Dudek. Six laps the distance here. These 8 cars will go for the 8. All right, 6 laps the distance. These 8 drivers will fill the top 4 rows of tonight's 30-lap feature event. We've got Mueller, and Griggs, Schell and Kaiser, Avila and Chatham, Cox and Dudek. 6 laps the distance. What can they do here? Mueller leads him to the green. Griggs, not a very good start, kind of in the slick there. Schell down to the bottom of the track, followed by Ryan Avila. Back of the pack, kind of running 3 wide. Tyler Shell makes it to the lead there. Three wide there. Bradley Cox down on the bottom. Griggs comes out on top. Avila making a move now for Shell in the lead on the bottom of the track. Avila comes out on top here. It's going to be Ryan Avila, Tyler Shell now. Avila, Shell, Griggs. Griggs absolutely ripping the rail up top. He's making something happen up there. He goes to make a move on Shell, plants it right on his nose. Holy cow, Cox gets into the wall a little bit. I don't know how Tyler Shell and Chad Griggs didn't crash there. Shell on the bottom, Griggs on top. I don't think that's a match anybody wants. Tyler Shell moves back to the top. Now we've got Ryan Avila, Chad Griggs, Tyler Shell. Tyler had a good start and then kind of fell back a little bit. Griggs absolutely hammering the cushion up top. Cox hammering the cushion, trying to make something work. Shell running the bottom of the track. Looks like he's coming. Oh, that was the end. Sorry. Got so excited. The racing was so good. We got so excited we lost track of the laps. Normally I have race control in my ear telling me how many laps I got, and then I got sick of listening to him earlier and I muted him and then can't hear him anymore. So big thanks to NARC and SSR for helping us put on this event. This event takes a ton of effort, and I know first event of the year is a little rough for us today, and we're definitely recognizing that and apologizing for that. But a ton of work goes in to putting on No Limit and making it happen. Not only from Christian and myself here on the broadcast side, but on the race control side, getting entries squared away, getting everything taken care of so the drivers know the format and how the race is going to go off, and getting all the information that we need from them to make the broadcast happen. There are handfuls of people that help put on this event, and we're appreciative of every single one of them. So it's the NARC and SSR community that allow us to do that. NARC runs pretty much 5 nights a week. Sunday, Monday, we're off on Tuesdays, run Wednesday, Thursday this season. In a variety of different things, from dirt to anything else that needs to be run. So we're super appreciative of them helping us put all of that stuff together. I think Christian's down there with Ashton Nealer right now, who was obviously in that dash and coming up with a. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not sure where he finished because I don't have the grid order in front of me right now. Christian, you got Ashton down there.
Yeah, I'm here with Ashton. Ashton, tell us how the track's holding up out there, and what are going to be the keys here going into the feature in order to maybe get up there and challenge Ryan Avila and Chad Griggs? They seem to be the two dominant cars out of that dash.
Yeah, we definitely missed a setup there in the dash, so we're going to get her tightened up, and we know it's a slick racetrack, so we're just going to go out there and be patient to start and hopefully be able to move around and move forward.
Yeah, that sounds like a sound strategy kind of thing. Anybody that you'd like to thank in terms of sponsors? Anyone helping you, wrenching for you down in the pits?
I got to thank my team with me. I got to thank Thaddeus for spotting me, JP running this with me, and the guys back at Aero Some Sports for helping me out and getting the sets good.
Well, awesome. Well, good luck, and have Adam there out in the feature here up to come. So good luck, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, a nice little word from somebody there in the dash. They're still working on some lineup stuff down in race control, so that's what we're waiting on. But I can see some of those things starting to come up, and I think we're getting close.
Well, Bruce, it looks like we're going to move on here to the feature. I'm looking down here at the track, and it is slicked off quite a bit. That top cushion seems to be quite treacherous, especially here at the Steel Palace. And I can tell you, when I was here running the 360s, it was awful treacherous. I ended up ball parking out of turn 4. So we'll see how these guys run, bottom versus top.
Yeah, it's definitely slicker than we've seen it here before in our other event. Like I said, it's only the second time where we've run here in the sprint car. I'm really interested to see whether the bottom comes in for some of these guys who are notorious for being bottom side drivers. The Vinny Sansones, the Tyler Shells of the night. Those are going to be the ones that I think are going to be really interesting to watch. All right, here is your feature lineup. All right, here is your feature lineup. Again, we have to hand score this feature or hand line up this feature. So we are trying to find a good, effective way to get a broadcast graphic up and read it off. And we are so close, but we found one more bug that we have to work out. So here is your feature lineup. Out of Coldwater, Ohio, starting 24th in the number 26, it's Nick Klosterman. Starting 23rd out of Mountain Home, Idaho, in the number 8, it's James. In 22nd, in the number 2 from Cottage Grove, Oregon, it is Chris Sabo. And in 21st, it's Austin Griffey. In 20th, from Rochester, Minnesota, it is Jesse Bandy. In 19th, from Oswego, Michigan, it is Jeremy Christensen. In 18th, it's going to be the number 1 of Kenny Hoffman. In 17th, the number 17 of Taylor Weiland. In 16th, the 970 of Miles Jansen. In 15th, the 11 of Joseph Groom. In 14th, the number 29 of Steven Stewart and the number 80th of Vinny Sansone in 13th. In 12th, JP Shatterer. In 11th, Kyle Stanley. In 10th, Dean Reynolds. 9th, Trevor Royer. 8th, Ross Kaiser. 7th, Gavin Chatham. 6th, Ashton Mueller. 5th, Connor Dudek. 4th, Bradley Cox. 3rd, Tyler Schell. 2nd, Chad Griggs. And 1st, Ryan Avila. Oswego Speedway, welcome to the main event. Before you are the 24 cars and stars of the Victory Fuel No Limit Sprint Cars. They've done battle all night for the opportunity to give you the best show that sprint car racing has to offer. 30 laps, 24 drivers, only one will come out on top. Here we go. Coming to the green flag. Ryan Avila and Chad Griggs. Green flag is out. 30 laps to go. Avila sticks right to the bottom. Griggs stays right on the top where he was in the Consolation, but Tyler Schell right on the bottom. Who did I call it out in the Consi? I think you want to leave Tyler the bottom if you have to. He has something running, and we are already under yellow. Yellow flag is out already here. Like that may be Joseph Groom? Joseph Groom, maybe. Yeah, it looks like Groom just got a little bit of traffic, and that's all we could do. Just to get it rolling again, though, so... All right, it's Ryan Avila, Tyler Schell now up front with Chad Griggs, Connor Dudek, Ashton Mueller. Ashton saying they tightened that car up. They obviously were not expecting the track to be quite as slick as it actually is. Kind of the beauty of running that dash, right? It gives some of these top drivers a chance to get back out on the racetrack and see what the car's going to feel like later in the evening. Avila Griggs, Schell, Bradley Cox, Connor Dudek, Ashton Mueller. Looks like the pace car is off here. We go. Avila slows him down a little bit on the entry. Maybe we're not quite lined up yet. One more lap, it looks like here. Field tightens up on the backstretch. Ryan Avila. I tell you, I know on the camera, Avila's car looks plain and white, but must be the way the light's hitting it, because on my screen, it is gorgeous. Tanner Pettit Racing 49. Avila off to a clean start on the bottom. Cuts back up, back down to the bottom. Griggs now pretty much the only car chasing the top, but he is ripping it up there like there's no tomorrow. Griggs making a move on Avila from the top. He's got that top side working. Griggs might come around and take lap number one. Leader for lap number one, Chad Griggs, riding high and not afraid to die up there. He absolutely put on a show. Now Avila getting under attack by Schell. Shell down on the bottom. Avila now moving to the top. Yellow's a flag out. Sounds like Ross Kaiser may have just bit that cushion a little bit. Chad Griggs did not come to play tonight. He came to win. He absolutely put it up there and let it eat. And that is sometimes what you got to do against the big dogs. And there are some big dogs in this field. Several pros across multiple disciplines. A world champion in Tyler Shell. All-time winning NARC leader. Second all-time winning NARC leader. This field is tough. All right, pace car is going to come around this time. Looks like we should get the one to go. Signal. I can see Shell's crew sitting down there. They're actually walking over to the Mealer pit. Mealer's crew is sitting down there eating nachos, so they apparently think it's all up to the driver at this point. They went out and got nachos at the nacho stand, and they're sitting there on the back of the mule eating some nachos. So, when to go here? Griggs, Avila, Shell, Cox, Dudek. Your top five. Ashton Mueller rounds out him in sixth. Greg gets a good start. Stays on the top of the track. Shell goes to the bottom. Avila now under attack by Connor Dudek on the bottom. It's almost like he doesn't have that car quite set up for the top, but I think Griggs might have something in store for him as Shell is a coming down on the bottom. Shell continues to tiptoe through the tulips down on the bottom, and he is closing on Griggs, who gets a little bit of cushion jump there, still to lead this lap. 25 laps to go. Shell's pushing, though. He knows Griggs has something up there. Shell, again, down on the bottom. Griggs on the top. They're nose-to-nose on exit. This time, the advantage again to Griggs, but by a little bit less. A little bit less this time. Avila starting to fall back. Bradley Cox not necessarily reeling him in, though. Out front, Shell to lead this lap now, though. Shell now in the lead as he continues to tiptoe the bottom. Two completely different approaches to the race here. Shell on the bottom, a more conservative throttle approach. Griggs on the top, just absolutely hammering the wall as hard as he can. Griggs just a little too hard there. Shell's going to get a clear advantage now. Griggs may have some damage. Shell pulls out a good gap at this point. Now Avila pulling back up to the tail tank of Chad Griggs. Shell, Griggs, Avila, Cox, Dudek. The top five remains the same. New player enters the game, though. Now we've got Kenny Hoffman in sixth place, and he's got a big gap, but he's closing it. That gap closing for Hoffman. The caution brings him into the game. Otherwise, he's got a lot of work to do to get back up there. Dudek, his teammate starting to slip into his grasp. Chad Griggs now back to the tail tank of Tyler Shell, right against each other as they cross the finish line. Shell with the slider around lap traffic. Griggs cuts underneath him. What a move! Chad Griggs back to the lead against the world champ. Griggs slides back up to the top. That's where he wants to be. Shell cuts the nose, but no grip there. Now he's under attack from Ryan Avila. Ryan Avila now back in the picture. Cox back in the picture. Throw a blanket over the top four. Griggs with the cut down on Shell and a little bit of contact. Shell now back to fourth place. Ryan Avila can't capitalize on Griggs and Shell's contact. Griggs leads the lap. 16 laps to go. 17 laps to go. Shell now back to the bottom, tiptoeing through the tulips, just waiting for a chance to pounce at this point. Avila now tries the slider, doesn't have the momentum to make it work. On exit, he's going to be under attack now from Bradley Cox, who did have the exit momentum being up on the top of the speedway. Cox takes the slider all the way to the top of the track. Avila cuts down. Chad Griggs checking out. Watch out, boys. He's going to get away from you. We're coming to 15 laps to go now. The second, third, and fourth place car racing like there is no tomorrow. Chad Griggs out for a Sunday drive on the top. Now he's got this cut down as the exit of the top of the corner gets very, very tricky. Ryan Avila now starting to reel Griggs in. Avila into the wall in the middle of the corner. Can't quite get back to him. Now they're starting to close in. Single filed out. We're already back into lap traffic. Kenny Hoffman mentioned he might have entered the game. He's already exited the game. He's starting to fall back a little bit. These boys are ticking off laps at a stalemate's pace. 13 laps to go. Lap traffic right in front of them. Who will work through this the best? Shell continues to fall off the pace. Now it's Griggs. It's Griggs, Avila, Cox. Shell now falling back and getting almost eaten up by Connor Dudek, his teammate, or Connor Dudek. Griggs working lap traffic. Avila gets a run. Avila now down to the bottom of the track. Griggs slides to the top through the traffic. Avila's got a run on the bottom of the track. And Griggs is going to hold it. Continuing through lap traffic. 1, 2, 3. Avila definitely working lap traffic better, but you've got to capitalize on the space. Griggs absolutely slamming the wall down. Avila can't make anything working through those cars. Now they've got a little bit of free space. Take a breath. Take a breath. 10 laps to go. Avila has got to reel him in, and that's going to be patience. Griggs makes a little bit of wall contact. Avila throws the slider on him. New leader, number 49, Ryan Avila. Chad Griggs now under attack from Bradley Cox. Avila starts to pull away a little bit. Looks like the Griggs car is starting to go away. Now Griggs back to the tail tank of Avila. Coming out of turn number 4. Coming to 8 laps to go. Griggs not able to close in. Cox right on the tail tank of Griggs, but he can't make anything work. And Tyler Shell now absolutely getting under attack by Connor Dudek. Griggs falls victim to Bradley Cox. Bradley Cox now on the prowl for the number 49 of Avila. Avila has just 7 laps to hold him off. More lap traffic now running the bottom of the speedway. Leaders kind of running the top in this cut down. Jeremy Christensen heeds way, just like the KG veteran that he is. Cox and Avila up top. Griggs up top. Shell up top. Dudek up top. Rest of the field kind of running this middle line. Top is treacherous. Cox makes a low dive under Avila. They're side by side on the entry corner. Lap traffic is the pick. Cox slides the car all the way up to the top. Avila gets all the way down on the bottom. Bradley Cox, your new leader. Ryan Avila now trying to track him down. 5 laps to go. Lap traffic out of the picture at the moment. Now it is a battle between Avila and Bradley Cox. Chad Griggs still holding the place position back there. At last place on the podium, he's got at the moment. Tyler Shell doesn't seem to have anything for him, but he's a little squirrely at the moment. Car starting to go away on him. Avila now up to the top, trying to cut down. Drops the nose down to the bottom of the track. Griggs into the wall just a little bit more. Griggs holding off the world champ for third. Bradley Cox with 3 laps to go. Avila now making the strong cut down. He turns the nose on the entry of the corner, cuts all the way down the speedway to get down to the exit grip. This time he stays up on the top. Cox a little bit loose. 2 laps to go for Bradley Cox. Bradley Cox cuts down to the bottom. Avila cuts down to the bottom. If you're running the same line, you're probably not going to pass him. Now Avila and Cox both run the slider in 3 and 4. White flag is out for Bradley Cox. Just one more trip around Oswego Speedway to see if this works. Lap traffic probably not a factor at this point, though it may be here. Hold on. Hold on. Cox down on the bottom. Bradley Cox out of turn number 4. He will be your winner, followed by Ryan Avila. Chad Griggs holds off for a third place finish over the World Championship champion Tyler Schell, then Connor Dudek. Kenny Hoffman, Ashton Mueller, Gavin Chatham, Dean Reynolds, and Miles Jansen round out your top 10. All right, top 3 are down there. There is a absolutely last minute snowstorm coming in here too. So the teams are pulling cars into the pits pretty quickly here and trying to get loaded up because it is snowing like there is no tomorrow. So we will see what we can do here. Oh, it looks like Christian, you may have Ryan Avila down there. Let me see if we can get to Christian with Ryan. Christian, do you have Ryan down there?
Yeah, I've got Ryan here. He's able to make it in here just before they're packing up that car. Ryan, tell us about those last couple laps, battling first with Chad Griggs, then with Bradley Cox. Walk us through those last 10 laps. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, it was an amazing race. Pretty upset with myself for not sliding in 3 and 4 at any time. So I ran it one lap and passed Chad and didn't run it again. So upset with myself on that part, but I felt like we had a pretty decent car for not running really any laps before this. It's one of my only races on this track, so I'm pretty excited with second. Glad to be running good in this league so far.
Well, it definitely didn't look like it was only one of your first races on the track. It looked like you look like a veteran out there. A heck of a race. That top, super treacherous, banging it off the top. Yeah, very exciting racing kind of thing. Who would you like to thank? Sponsors, guys wrenching on the car?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. SSR, NARC, whoever puts on the race. Pretty good to be running this league now. I missed it kind of last season, that low preparation season. Tanner Pettit Racing, all the guys that help over there. Jimmy P. Mac Tools, 1425 Photography, Ethan Johnson over at Free Speed, Dalton Strum Photography, Trackside Collective, Aces Up Sim Sport, everyone who helps. It's a pretty good team we've got so far, and looking to do good in this league.
All right, well, thanks for coming down for the interview, and especially with the weather rolling in, we certainly appreciate it, and good luck through the rest of the season. Excellent showing here in the first race.
Thank you.
Well, Christian, as we wrap it up, it looks like everybody else is loading up in the trailer as I look down there. As we wrap it up, man, my takeaway from this is, holy cow, who is going to win this championship? Like, we look at the top 5, and man, if anybody put money on Chad Griggs to lead as much of this race as he did, and then hold off Tyler Schell late race at a track like this, man, they are going to they are going out to party tonight because they earned some serious cash on that bet. I would not have had that kind of money on them.
Well, I would not just look here at the top of the order, but look at the bottom of the order and the guys that moved up from the bottom of the order. Hoffman moving up through there. And then also at the back, Trevor Royer finishing 24th, our last season champion, finishing last in the feature here. Who would have predicted that either? I think we're in for a heck of a season here with No Limit. I think we're in for some excellent racing, and if tonight was just a taste, I think we've got a lot more interesting and fun racing to come.
I would agree. I think this thing is completely up in the air, as in who could walk away with it. I wouldn't have guessed Trevor Royer finishes last in the feature. I honestly look at guys like even Dean Reynolds. While he's got a great pedigree, there's no slouches in this thing. He's racing with the best of the best. I mean, if I look down this list, I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 drivers that have less than 4,000 I rating. This is a heck of a field for someone that is a little bit more of a casual racer to come and run as good as they did. But I agree, Kenny Hoffman up 12 positions. That's going to be your hard charger probably tonight. We'll wait for the official word on that. Gavin Chatham up 5 positions after starting on the pole. Of the or starting on the pole in qualifying and not necessarily having the greatest run early. So lots of guys moving up. Nick Klosterman up 10 positions. If we looked at him in qualifying, I think that team went to work really hard and made some pretty giant adjustments on that car to get him where he is in the feature.
Yes, I agree. You've got guys, I think tonight, when you take a look at where guys started and where guys finished, you had a lot of comers and a lot of goers. And, guys that got in trouble, there was that big wreck about middle of the way through the race that really shuffled the order. And there was a lot of guys that were able to take advantage of it. And I suspect that drivers at the back, like Vinny Sansone and Trevor Royer, they're going to go into next race just that much hungrier, and I expect to see those guys up front and battling for a win. Those guys, they might have one bad race here or there, but they're not the type of driver that usually has 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah, and in a short 8-race season, you can't have very many bad races. You probably get one mulligan at best, and that's assuming that Tyler Schell's mulligan is in a 4th place. So yeah, it's going to be a great season. I tell you, as we were prepping for this season, one of the things we were worried about is, when you open this your registration, you open your event up to everybody. In the qualifier season, we had a very strict invite list, and when you open up to everybody, you never really know what you're going to get. And not only did we pull really great quality in this throughout the field, top to bottom, but really respectful racing from top to bottom as well, and competitive. Nobody had a clear advantage. I think the lead changed 4 or 5 times in the feature, and Cox didn't take the lead until the last 10, 11 laps, something like that. So great night, great race tonight. We appreciate all of you fans from coming out. Just a couple of quick just thank yous that we would like to do. As we talked about earlier, No Limit takes a ton of people, and I mean a ton of people to put together. But this is the group that was here tonight and working hard on these things. So myself and Ted York are the executive producers of No Limit. We have kind of handled this from vision all the way to reality. But on the production team, it's not just me and Christian, but we've had Bryce Barris as a technical producer helping work on things. Ryan Wagenschutz is our media producer. He produces a lot of what you see on social media and a lot of what the drivers get as kind of a, thank you for running. They get some hero cards and some victory cards and stuff like that when they win. But our competition team, Ted York taking that competition director role, but also Greg Keppel and Chris Vinson as the live officiators of the event, not only helping to put on qualifying. A name that was mistakenly left off of this slide, Brandon Garman had an emergency tonight, so didn't get to stay throughout the entire night, but Brandon was kind of our media runner tonight, so he was helping communicate between production and competition to make sure that when we had a problem with the stream, the competition team was aware of that, and that when they were having problems getting Kenny fired during qualifying, for example, that we were kind of aware of what's going on. So it takes a lot of people to put this on. This isn't everybody. Really, everybody here at SSR has had a hand in this. If you haven't found SSR yet, check out schoolofsimracing.net. Come join us in the Discord. We are approaching 5,000 members strong. We couldn't be more proud of what SSR is. It's a really great community to come and learn, whether you're a casual fan and just want to come hang out, or whether you are on iRacing and want to get a little bit better. SSR has what you are looking for. And if you are that casual racer and are looking for a league, check out the National Auto Racing Club. You can find that page also at schoolofsimracing.net. On behalf of myself and Christian McCartney and Ted York and the rest of the production team here at ESRN, my name is Bruce Klingen, and we will see you in 2 weeks at, again, 9 p.m. Eastern Time for round 2 of the No Limit Victory Fuel No Limit Sprint Cars. Again, my name is Bruce Klingen, and I will see you when the dust settles.